Thank you, Jeff. Steve Brown's here from Family Physiotherapy Centre. How are you?
Excellent.
Good. We're going to work on a couple of things today. Joining us, Brendan Hickey is here. Hi, Brendan. How are you?
Pretty good.
You're a therapist, right?
Yeah, physiotherapist.
Also joining us from Capital City FC, this is Damien Moret. Damien, how are you?
Good, and you?
And congratulations on a fine season.
Thank you.
More on that coming up.
Yes.
But we're going to deal with the difference between tendonitis, which is a common term that people know, and tendonosis.
Yeah, there is a difference between the two. I think most people have heard about tendonitis in the past. They've been told they have tendonitis.
Sure.
But our understanding of tendon problems has actually changed a lot over the last 10 to 15 years.
Is that right?
In that, what they realized was that most of the time when you got an issue with your tendon, it's not so much that it's inflamed, which is what a tendonitis refers to. It's actually that it's a bit worn out, like it's worn down. A good analogy, if you think of a tendon as like a rope, in a tendinosis, the ropes become frayed.
Right.
And what happens is that the body actually tries to heal that down by laying down little bits of scar tissue here and there, but it's not the same tendon anymore. It looks at it, it gets thicker, it gets stiffer. I actually brought a couple of pictures that you might want to show your viewers.
Here they are.
Actually
Here they are.
Draw them up there. One of them, there's a picture there where you can actually see a classic bump on the tendon.
That's a heel, by the way.
Yeah, that's actually heel. That's from Achilles tendon. And there's a second picture where you can compare the two side to side.
Yes.
You can look at the one on the left-hand side there. It's actually a lot, thicker. Yeah. You see it's broader. Now, you would think that is inflamed, but it's not really inflamed. That's an actual change, the structural change of the tendon.
So it's going to be like that forever?
It does change like that, but there's things that you can do with it in order to actually mitigate those sorts of problems.
Now, Damien has had an Achilles problem, right?
Yeah,
in the past, earlier this season, as a matter of fact. So how did you do it? What did you do?
Well, with Damien early in the season, it was a bit more of a strain at the time, but we're always concerned about wearing away that may be existing in the tendon with that, because you do strain easier if the tendon has started to wear down.
Sure.
So with Damien, we would have started with some basic exercises that we're going to demonstrate today, and then because of the nature of the sport, we progressed it a little bit more as time goes on.
Okay.
So let's actually start with, we'll just keep it really simple. The key thing with a tendinosis is that when you're strengthening the tendon, you actually do a lot of what we call eccentric strengthening.
Okay.
What that means is that you're actually contracting the tendon and contracting the muscle as it very slowly lengthens. What this does is it increases the tension on the tendon over time, which causes it to actually become more like normal tendon. So if you look at Damien here, he's actually taking he's doing a normal calf raise exercise, a very common thing for people to do, but it's a very slow lowering that he's doing. It's about 5 seconds to go down, and then he's quick up.
Quick up,
from there.
slow down. Gotcha. And so this focuses on the Achilles tendon area as well as the calf?
Yeah, this focuses primarily on the tendon itself. If you were trying to build your calf, you'd be strengthening a little bit differently. But this is primarily to actually cause the tendon itself to get stronger.
Yeah, this is a heck of a tendon to injure, too.
Yeah, it can be really frustrating, especially for athletes.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult for them doing any sort of running type sport to actually rest it or to let it settle down. You're always using it.
Yeah, and we've heard more and more, Brendan, about people blowing out their Achilles. Like you saw Ryan Howard do it, I think, his last at bat for the Phillies there during the playoffs, and bam, he might not be back till sometime next season.
Yeah, tendon ruptures are actually very frustrating because we don't necessarily get a lot of warning.
Does tendonitis and tendinosis lead to that, or could it possibly?
There's some theories. I don't think they've ever really proven any causality in there. The one thing I would say is that when you've got a tendinosis, because it tends to get thicker and stiffer, it's more likely to hurt a lot before you get to the point where you would actually rupture completely.
Right. So you've worked on this particular issue with Damien here, and how are you feeling now, Damien?
A lot better.
Yeah, is that right? So you had to do some work. It's funny the work you have to do on an injured area to recover from that injury. You know what I mean? Like it's physical activity oftentimes that helps it versus hurting it.
And that's part of why you want to actually have some sort of health professional guiding you through this process.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an example of a very basic exercise that people can try at home to be able to actually work on if they find that they have little issues with their Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually being able to get back to say something like a sport, especially at a higher level, it's worth having some guidance, because there's a whole series of progressions that we would do to make sure that you are fit and strong to be able to get back out on the ice or get back out on the field.
Or in this case on the soccer field, and Capital City FC is going to be on the field this weekend, right?
Yeah, thank God we won our first trip to the semifinals at the playoffs.
Right.
And we'll be playing at 3 p.m. this Sunday at Terry Fox Stadium.
Excellent stuff.
You can find all the info if you want on capitalcityfc.com, and you'll be able to buy tickets online.
Excellent. That's this Sunday?
Yeah, this Sunday.
Awesome. You're playing somebody out of Toronto, Serbia.
We're playing the Serbian White Eagles this weekend.
Yeah, Serbian White Eagles. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming by. I just found out, Steve.
Yes. Sure.
I don't have tendonitis. I have a full body tendinosis.
Oh.
Full body. That's exactly what happened to me. We'll take a break. Leanne's working on her muffins. She's also working on Today's the Day. We'll be right back. Don't worry.